Along with the great medical advances made here at Ohio State also has their own medical school. The Ohio State University College of Medicine was founded in 1914 thanks to William Oxley Thompson, the fifth president at The Ohio State University. The preparation for the school started in 1906 when the Ohio legislature passed the Eagleson Bill. This bill locked in Ohio State's flagship role in the state's public system of higher education. This law mandated that only Ohio State, among other public universities in Ohio, would be allowed to offer doctoral education or conduct basic research. In 1906, the medical school in Ohio began from the merging of Ohio Medical University and Starling Medical College to form the Starling, Ohio Medical College. In 1914, the Ohio State College of Medicine was officially established with William Means as the first dean. In 1940, the school began with a 2-year medical program, which was then extended to a 3-year medical program in 1970, and finally a 4-year medical program in 1980 and continues to be as such today. The establishment of Ohio State's Medical College allowed for the addition of many other medical facilities here at Ohio State, such as university hospitals, the James Cancer Research Hospital, Comprehensive Cancer Center, the Brain and Spine Hospital, OSU Harding Hospital, Dodd Hall Inpatient Rehabilitation Hospital, and numerous primary care and subspecialty clinics throughout Central Ohio. The addition of these facilities has helped to continue the medical research and developments that continue to come out of Ohio State.
Clotilde Bowen, who lived from 1923 to 2011, attended Ohio State for her undergraduate degree, which she completed in only 3 years, and was accepted to the Ohio State's College of Medicine in 1944. She became the first African-American woman to graduate from Ohio State's med school in 1947. From this point on, she built an extraordinary military career with her degree. After working with her own practice in Harlem, Dr. Bowen shortly became the first female physician in the U.S. Army in 1956. During her time in the Army, she served as a pulmonary specialist at Valley Forge in Pennsylvania. She became the first female commander of a military hospital when she was assigned to the former Fort Benjamin Harrison in Indiana. And she also became the first African-American woman to be named Chief of Psychiatry in 2 Veterans Administration hospitals and 2 Army medical centers. For her work involving the setup of drug treatment centers and her efforts to lessen racial conflicts during the Vietnam War, Dr. Bowen was awarded a Bronze Star in the Legion of Merit in 1971. She was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal in 1974 as well. Dr. Bowen retired from the military in 1996 and continued her work for the Veterans Health Administration. She also worked across the nation as an independent physician, including teaching and public speaking, before her death in 2011. Today, the Ohio State College of Medicine annually recognizes Dr. Bowen's legacy with an annual scholarship awarded in her name to select students, residents, and faculty members. The Bowen Award is designed to recognize a current female student at the Ohio State University College of Medicine who exemplifies many of the same characteristics as Dr. Bowen, one who is a pioneer, who stays strong in the face of adversity, and who is a leader to the community around her. Additionally, Bowen House on our North Campus is named after Dr. Bowen to commemorate her achievements. Through her persistence and determination, Dr. Bowen achieved feats unthought of for women of color at the time and broke down barriers for the generations to come. Deservingly so, Dr. Bowen is recognized not only at Ohio State, but nationally, and she has become the archetype for a leader.
In 1919, Bertha Barranco was born in Peru. She decided to follow the footsteps of her father, who worked as a physician after graduating from Harvard Medical School. Bertha attended the National University of San Marcos, where she was the only woman in her medical school class. When she wasn't studying, Bertha provided free medical care to the local fishermen. After graduating at the top of her medical school class in 1948, Bertha traveled to Ohio State on scholarship to complete a 1-year-long postdoctoral fellowship. Bertha's ambition and hard work led her to becoming the first female chief resident of Ohio State in 1953. Soon after, in 1954, Bertha began working as an assistant professor of hematology and oncology, later going on to becoming the first female full professor in Ohio in 1970. While she was breaking societal barriers in her everyday life and within the health field, one of Bertha's greatest accomplishments come through her research. In 1958, Bertha discovered a very unusual form of cancer that attacks white blood cells throughout the body. The disease, which is found in blood and bone marrow, was later named hairy cell leukemia because of the jagged edges and hair-like projections coming from the cells. When the disease was initially discovered by Bertha, hairy cell leukemia was known to be fatal for patients. However, Bertha and her team developed an effective therapy known as pentostatin. The disease, which is once thought to always result in death for the patient, is now one of the most treatable cancers as a result of Bertha's work. Bertha's discovery of hairy cell leukemia and creating an effective treatment for the disease was instrumental in the legacy of cancer research and treatment at Ohio State. Not only did she display the highest standard of care for her patients, but she also contributed to the groundbreaking cancer research that has saved so many lives since her contributions. Her work and legacy influenced the establishment of the James Cancer Hospital and Solov Research Institute, which has been a leader in cancer treatment and research since 1990. Bertha retired in 1989, but she continued to give back to the community. In 2013, she and her family created the Bertha Barranco and Andrew Perenni Chair of Medicine to provide funding and further medical research at the James. Through her rigorous work, unmatched dedication, and commitment to furthering the field of medicine, Bertha's legacy lives on every day at Ohio State.
In 1932, the Ohio State University Medical Center expanded its offerings by opening its own division of neurological surgery. Its founder, Dr. Harry Lefevre, brought on a young, highly revered surgeon from his own backyard, Dr. William E. Hunt. Dr. Hunt was a double Buckeye, completing both his undergraduate and medical degrees at The Ohio State University. His most notable work was in the cerebrovascular space, in which he developed both the Tolassa-Hunt syndrome and the Hunt-Hess scale. Tolassa-Hunt syndrome is a rare condition in which inflammation of the sinus or the orbital fissure weakens and paralyzes muscles of the eye, which can also cause unilateral headaches. That's one of the early indicating symptoms. The Hunt-Hess scale is a clinical classification scale used to rate the severity of subarachnoid hemorrhaging following a stroke. So you can see that most of his work, again, is in the cerebrovascular space as he works with the blood supply to both the brain and muscles of the eye and face. The Hunt-Hess scale is still actually the standard scale used in medicine today. Dr. Robert Hess Jr. was a resident working with him on the study, so you can see that he kind of selflessly co-authored the scale with one of the residents that was working with him on the project. Dr. Hunt would spend a total of 37 years on faculty at Ohio State. He served as chairman of what would become the department, not the division, of the neurological surgery from 1964 to 1989. He would eventually retire in 91 as a professor emeritus. He passed away in January of 1999, but obviously between Tolassa-Hunt syndrome and the Hunt-Hess scale being still kind of like the gold standard in their own respective divisions today, you can see that his work transpires through his death as well.
Around the same time as Dr. Hunt's neurological discoveries, Dr. James Warren was diving headfirst into cardiology and the disorders that were not only plaguing Columbus, but also the world. Dr. Warren was a cardiologist and was also the OSU Chair of Medicine for 8 years in the 60s. He attended OSU for undergrad and completed his MD at Harvard Medical School. As well as his administrative role, he did 50 years worth of research into blood flow and congestive heart failure. For those who aren't familiar, congestive heart failure is when the muscles that power your heart become too weak. While this condition is sometimes referred to as simply heart failure, CHF is more concerned with a stage in which fluid builds up around the heart. This is a serious condition, and Dr. Warren was very concerned about diagnosing this. He made great advances in determining the mechanisms of the disease. He was one of the first physicians to use cardiac catheterization to diagnose heart issues as well. Using all of his knowledge about cardiac health, he came up with a solution to the sensitive time frame that cardiac disorders had. He wanted to be able to get patients to hospitals faster so that they may receive treatment before it was too late. He coined the term Heartmobile in 1969 to refer to his outfitted van that had basic cardiac equipment and life-saving measures. The Heartmobile was incredibly well received, and Dr. Warren is now considered to be the father of modern paramedics. Countless lives have been saved by this rapid response plan. It's incredible to think that we've only had ambulances since 1969.
Dr. Janet Rice and Richard Lanise were faculty at the Ohio State School of Preventive Medicine. They were part of a team that in 1982 published a paper in the Journal of the American Medical Association revealing the connections between Reye's syndrome and aspirin use in children. Reye's syndrome is a rare disorder that causes brain and liver damage and usually occurs in children who have had recent viral infections, such as chickenpox or the flu. This work led to widespread recognition that taking aspirin to treat such an infection greatly increases the risk of Reye's.